Welcome back to LTV News. We have plenty of updates happening on and off campus. Stay with us for the latest stories bringing energy to our LaSalle community.
And for all the latest updates beyond campus, we'll have another view at LaSalle alum interview, an update of the recent parking garage collapse in Grace Ferry, plus other stories taking place around the globe.
Welcome to LTV News, your source for everything happening from 20th and Olney to the heart of Philadelphia and beyond. My name is Mike Adredas, and we have a great lineup of stories from LaSalle, our city, and around the world.
And I'm Destano Tiganov. We've got a lot to cover in the next half hour, so stick around for some fun and interesting stories you won't want to miss. Let's jump right in.
LaSalle University is mourning the loss of a true trailblazer. Basketball legend Jackie Moore has passed away at the age of 93. Moore made history as the first black player in the university's men's basketball program, leading the Explorers to an NIT championship in 1952. His dominance on the glass remains legendary, holding the second highest rebounding average in school history. Moore continued his historic career in the NBA, becoming the first black player for the Philadelphia Warriors and winning a professional title in 1956. A member of the LaSalle Hall of Athletes, Jackie Moore leaves beyond a lasting legacy of courage and excellence, both on and off the court. Our thoughts are with his friends and family and the entire Explorer community.
LaSalle University student Adia Brown is paving the way for a unique career in public health. The junior is currently enrolled in the 5-year Accelerated Master's program with a mission to improve maternal and childhood health outcomes. Brown says her passion was sparked during the pandemic, leading her to explore the vital connection between social factors and community wellness. Beyond the classroom, she's merging her love for creativity with science through the Public Art Showcase, an exhibition at the University Art Museum exploring how art and health intersect. After graduation, Brown plans to become a researcher and doula to support Black women in the healthcare system. She credits the close-knit Explorer community for giving the confidence to lead.
New to the faculty at LaSalle University, Dr. Katie Wagner is bringing her passion for communication to the classroom. The former speech-language pathologist joined the Communication Sciences and Disorders program after a successful clinical career in Texas. Dr. Warner says she was drawn to Philadelphia by the rich city's culture and LaSalle's mission to educate the whole person. She now teaches both undergraduate and graduate students, focusing on speech and sound disorders and pediatric science. Warner believes her role as an educator allows her to make a far-reaching impact by preparing the next generation of clinicians to help future patients and their voices. She says the sense of belonging at 20th and Olney has made her transition to teaching a truly rewarding experience.
For student-athlete Owen Riley, fighting home at LaSalle University was just the beginning. The junior accounting and finance major from North Carolina has successfully balanced the rigors of the swimming and diving team with the prestigious Business Scholars Co-op program. Riley credits his professors for sparking his passion for numbers, leading to prestigious internships and site visits to companies like Guggenheim Investors in New York City. The hard work is really paying off, as Riley has secured 2 full-time job offers a year before graduation. He plans to pursue his CPA license and eventually bring his expertise to the tech startup world. Riley says the tight-knit Explorer community has been the key to his success both in the pool and the classroom.
LaSalle students are encouraged to become active members of their community, contributing in some way to better the lives of their neighbors. This community work can sometimes lead to career paths those students didn't even consider, including roles in local government. Exploring Politics host Peter Rapp recently talked with alum Jude Hewson about how she got involved working with the Pennsylvania State Senate, along with the role young people can play in politics.
Hello and welcome to a special segment of Exploring Politics. I'm your host, Peter Rapp, and I am joined today by Jude Hussein, a LaSalle alum, and you are also you work in the Senate. What office is that?
Yeah, Chief of Staff for a member in the Pennsylvania State Senate. So I'm on the legislative side.
That's very interesting. Now, how did you get there from LaSalle? Do you want to explain that path for a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a strong track record in nonprofits across the city of Philadelphia. I pride myself on being a really strong community organizer, really centering community first. And after a few years organizing outside of government, one day I was listening to the radio. I listened to the radio every single morning, and I heard that there was a member that staged a sit-in. And I thought to myself, whoa, I've never heard of an elected official staging a sit-in against government. And I decided, well, I think it was my final year I think it was my final year at LaSalle, I said, you know what, I'm going to figure out who this member is. And I also pride myself on tracking down anybody that I want to talk to. And I applied to every single position that the Senate had to offer. And here we are in government. I never thought I'd be in government because I like to agitate and disrupt government. But yeah, it's been a journey for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a very important part of our political process is the government should include agitation and people that kind of push the boundaries of what we're doing currently as a country. So to go into our first segment area, you're from the city of Philadelphia, you grew up here. What do you think are the city's biggest priorities politically right now? I mean, we have Krasner currently clashing with the DA, with ICE, and we have also the issues with Sherrill Parker. People have issues with the incinerator that is operating downtown and things along those lines. So what do you think about our city's current political state?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. I think we're kind of in flux, right? We have the first woman mayor who has a lot of pressure on herself, and there's a lot of challenges that come with that. We have District Attorney Krasner that's been really leading the fight as it relates to ICE and the presence of ICE. And he's been really disrupting these norms, which I would have to agree with. I think some of our larger challenges that we have as a city, I know Mayor Parker is really focused on clean and safe streets, and she's focused on her housing policy. And these are some of her major issue areas that she's been really focused on. I would say in general, as a city, what we need to focus on is safety, of course, education for our young people, and ensuring that they're a part of the, civic engagement climate and involved in all of these decision making. And I would also say business. We really got to promote our small business corridors and ensuring that, they're front and center because they provide economic opportunity and growth. But I would say as the landscape right now, Mayor Parker has her few key areas that she believes in that she addressed during her budget address around February. And right now we're waiting to see what City Council decides on the budget and some of her priorities. So it'll be definitely an interesting time in the next few months. I think District Attorney Krasner is one of the most popular elected officials across our city's landscape, as you know. And it is a tough time, right? But I think he's been very clear on what he wants and what he stands for. And that's, in fact, ensuring that ICE does not create mass chaos and havoc and really enforce their brutal practices to our neighbors here in the city of Philadelphia, because that's his jurisdiction. And he's made that quite clear. And I don't think anybody can dispute that he hasn't been on the front lines.
Yeah, I mean, he said that ICE they can't come here and break the law. It's his job to maintain the law, so I think it's a reasonable position for him to take. And the city is obviously very responsive to it. I feel like it's the general attitude of the city that we are the birthplace of America, the American experiment, and we are a melting pot of a city as well as a country. So we really don't want people coming in here and stirring up unrest in communities. So now to move with that to kind of a more national outlook, where do you see the role of young people in the Democratic Party, in the upcoming midterms, and in general within our political institutions? Yeah,
well, we look at history and young people have always been at the forefront in politics. I think there's been this notion that young people are nowhere to be seen and they don't care and they're not as active. But if anything, especially this previous presidential election, we see that young people just have a different way of mobilizing, especially in this day and age. And there is a role for them, just like there always has been. And I think the more and more times we say they don't care, it just disheartens them even more because they are the ones that care the most, because their future is riding in the present and in the future. And so think the role for young people is really multidimensional.
Yeah.
They have a different way of organizing, which I really appreciate, right? We have the digital landscape that's really powerful right now as it stands. We saw that especially this previous presidential election of like narratives clashing and really the ability for the not so traditional young person to go out and mobilize in a different kind of way. I also think young people have a space in office, right? And I think elected office, I think we need to see more young people as senior staffers. I think we need to see them as staffers in general because staffers really run that landscape of understanding the system and how to benefit different communities and make it a more inclusive government. I think young people have really an opportunity to show up and show out going into these midterm elections. We have a few tokens across our nation, but we need more. And just because we have one or two doesn't mean the work is done. And so I think young people care. I think looking into the midterm elections and even the upcoming presidential race, I think young people will show up and show out in different ways. There's not one way to do politics anymore, right? There's not that, you know what, we're just going to run this election and that's it. That's just not the case anymore. And we're seeing more and more of that, of what organizing looks like, what mobilizing looks like. And young people definitely have a space in different ways.
Yeah, and I think as young people, we have to respond to our obligation to be involved. And I know that a lot of people are on campus here at LaSalle. We have many different politically active organizations that I'm proud to be part of our kind of campus discussion that we have going. So moving on to a question in the same kind of vicinity. Public opinion and getting it involved in the decisions that are being made. I know that there's a lot of questions that people ask about, is what's going on, is the policy that's being passed really what we want as Americans? Is it good for the country? How do you think we get public opinion and the feelings of the people more involved over corporate PACs, big donors, billionaires? How do you think we go about doing that?
I think you alluded to it in your previous question about what is the role of young people in today's government and the political landscape. I think there's a few different ways. One, we really have to understand that organizing is a tool that can be used in so many different ways. I think two, ensuring that we hold our government officials accountable, right? We elect these people and then we kind of forget about it. But where's the accountability tool? We even look at city, state, and federal, and it's how are we keeping these individuals accountable? I think public opinion and ensuring that people, not just young people, but people across the board know what the heck is going on. I mean, it's just so much political jargon and it's a complex issue and everyone wants to speak in generalities, but I want to get into the nitty gritty. I care about the specifics of an issue, right? And I think everybody should start caring about the specifics of an issue. So that's another way to look at it and start asking those questions of, okay, you're elected, so what now? Okay, you're a year in, what did you vote on? What are your budget priorities? I tell people all the time, if you want to know about someone, look at their budget. In anything, in politics, in dating, in life, whatever you care about, look at someone's budget and you'll understand their priorities. And I think public opinion, I mean, we've seen for the first time when we look at, Israel and Palestine and what's happening, right? There has been a shift for the first time in our history of public opinion shifting towards Palestinians, which is major. And so these are one of those times where now we can use the different tools like social media. I mean, we saw how TikTok was like a huge issue across the political landscape. I mean, you have to ask yourself why, right? It's because people are starting to ask questions and they're starting to share their opinions and their thoughts, and there's so many of them. And not all of them may be right to you and I, but people have a right to share those opinions, right? So how are we honing in on ensuring that their right is protected and those questions can be asked, right? And so these are a few different ways that we can hold people accountable, but also public opinion and how are we ensuring that people are being held accountable to policies and procedures?
Yeah, I think what you talk about with the opening of the American political landscape with social media as well as our traditional institutions, both of them operating kind of together, kind of bouncing off one another, is very important. I think people are learning a lot about politics they would not have known prior, and it's leading to an outburst of new opinions, new ideas, and bipartisanship of being able to discuss these new ideas is very important. That's what we try to do here on the show, and I know that's what you try to do in your office in the Senate, and I think that's very important. And thank you so much for coming on today. It's been lovely speaking with you.
Thank you for having me.
Unfortunately, that is all the time we have here today for our special segment of Exploring Politics. Please follow our Instagram and stay tuned. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Peter, for your highlight of our wonderful alumni. Your interview shows students of all majors that anything is possible regardless of their major. Don't go anywhere, as we will be back with Philadelphia Stories after the break.
When a child in your life requires intensive care, their health fragile, their condition complex, certified acute care pediatric and neonatal nurse practitioners will give you the information and support you need to make the best decisions for your child, while providing the critical care your child needs. Trained to diagnose and manage life-threatening conditions and emergencies, they are trained to make a difference. Learn why at certifiednurses.org.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
It's hard to always know what's going on with your kids. The Talk They Hear You mobile app and Screen for Success tool can help. The mobile app shows you how to turn everyday situations into opportunities to talk with your kids about alcohol and other drugs. Screen for Success helps you find out if your child needs more support by asking about their health, wellness, and well-being. Keep your kids safe and healthy. Download the free Talk They Hear You mobile app and start using Screen for Success today.
Dear University of...
Thank you for your offer
to become student ID number 283471.
While I appreciate your desire
for my impeccable academic record,
I must decline the opportunity
to get a generic degree.
I've decided to tell my story.
To be a student,
not a statistic.
I wish you good luck in the future
as I embark on mine.
Welcome back. Philadelphia is gearing up for a soccer summer as the 2026 World Cup draws near. Two new pitches are coming to the city to give fans their own place to play the beautiful game. A 7,000 square foot artificial turf field was just unveiled at Dilworth Park, right next to City Hall, serving as a central hub for visitors and transit riders through October. Meanwhile, a permanent installation is coming to Tip Top Playground on the Northern Liberties border, featuring 2 professional-grade fields with lighting and after-school programming. Officials say these spaces are designed to build excitement for the 6 World Cup games coming to the link, ensuring the tournament leaves a lasting legacy for neighborhood athletes long after the finals end.
The Philadelphia Zoo is celebrating America's 250th anniversary with some tall and leafy new additions. Starting April 18th, visitors can marvel at the return of Zootoperias, featuring 3 brand new creations made from nearly 9,000 plants. Highlights include a 10-foot-tall bald eagle, a massive Galapagos tortoise honoring the zoo's oldest resident mommy, and a playful mother and baby bear at the newly renovated Bear Country. The zoo is also partnering with the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society to offer guided garden tours, showcasing over 150 years of history and ecology across the 42-acre grounds. Officials describe the stunning displays as pretty with a purpose, blending Victorian tradition with wildlife conservation.
Rising star baker Safe Manna is preparing to bring new life to Kensington as he gears up for the debut of Manna Bakery. The 27-year-old Temple graduate, who was self-taught in the art of pastry, is transforming the former Eston Bakery space on West Burke Street into a brick-and-mortar home for his famous pop-up treats. Madden's daily routine starts at 4 a.m., blending intense kitchen prep with flavors inspired by his Levantine heritage. Customers can look forward to signature items like harissa-tinged flatbreads, sumac chicken buns, and rich Basque cheesecake. The bakery is currently undergoing renovations, including a custom counter featuring travertine tiles in honor of Madden's late father. The new Kensington staple is on track to open its doors this May.
Demolition continues in Grace Ferry following the tragic and deadly collapse of a parking garage earlier this week. Crews are using a wrecking ball to tear down unstable sections of the structure in a slow and highly controlled process. Mayor Sherelle Parker says the methodical pace is essential to prevent further instability. The collapse claimed the lives of 3 members of Ironworkers Local 41, Stepan Shevchuk, Matthew Kane, and Mark Scott Jr. Recovery teams are waiting for engineers to clear the site before they begin the heartbreaking task of hand-digging through the rubble. Roads and nearby shops remain closed as officials vow a thorough investigation into the cause of this catastrophe. Our hearts go out to the families of the fallen soldiers.
We're going to take another quick break before diving into some world news. Stay tuned for more LTV news.
Victim to fake pills. That smells like big crime that needs to be stopped. Before buying pills online, think about this. Should buying prescription pills be this easy? Did you know that fake prescription pills may contain fentanyl, and an amount small enough to fit on the tip of a pencil can be lethal? Before buying pills from social media, think again. Learn more at mcgruffpsa.org and go for real.
80% of Americans accused of a crime will get appointed a public defender.
We're the front line of defending people's constitutional rights.
For every dollar we spend on public defenders, we spend $3 on prosecutors.
The entire apparatus of the state is behind the prosecution.
Gideon's Promise trains, mentors, and supports public defenders.
It's changed the face of public defense.
It gives me that sense of I'm not doing this by myself.
It's fueled me to continue on in this fight.
I enlisted as a medic to be there to help my patients, and after an injury, I found myself as a patient. I experienced post-traumatic seizures. Depression is a big one that comes along with it, PTSD. So I pursued my PhD in neuroscience and regenerative medicine. The coalition has helped fund my academic pursuits. They genuinely care about helping the vet in whatever way that they can. Through supporting the coalition, you're supporting some of the veterans that have the biggest needs.
Visit saluteheroes.org to learn more.
I was the lead gunner of the convoy that we had. While I was suppressing fire, I felt a flick on my upper biceps area. Right after my recovery, I had to find myself again and see what else I could do to continue my selfless service. Having an organization like the Coalition to Salute America's Heroes, putting me back into working with wounded troops helped me to process my injury. I'm Sergeant Mary Herrera, and my alive date was November 8th, 2003.
For more information, visit saluteheroes.org.
Welcome back. Norway is taking a bold step into the future of maritime travel with the launch of the world's largest fleet of flying electrical ferries. Transport leader Boreal has ordered 20 hydrofoil vessels designed to whiz above the water at speeds of 25 knots. These cutting-edge boats use computer-controlled wings to lift the hull, reducing energy consumption by 80% and virtually eliminating seasickness for passengers. The new fleet will provide a zero-emission and silent alternative for commuters along Norway's stunning fjord-lined coast. With the ability to recharge in just 1 hour using standard electric vehicle fast chargers, experts say this technology represents a major breakthrough for sustainable high-speed travel, ensuring the nation's pristine waters remain clear and quiet for generations to come.
A heartwarming reunion 5 years in the making is capturing hearts today, after a beloved cat named Bodhi was finally reunited with his owner in Derby, England. Bodhi and his brother Braxton both vanished in 2021, in what the family believes was a case of catnapping. While his brother was found weeks later, Brody remained missing for half a decade until an old Facebook post changed everything. A local woman discovered the gray tabby living under her carport and searched social media to find the original plea for help. Despite moving multiple times, the owner was tracked down and reunited with her long-lost pet, proving that hope is truly never lost. Brody is now back home and safe, enjoying plenty of purrs and cuddles after his extraordinary journey.
In the United Kingdom first, a new biodiverse forest is growing thanks to an unlikely source of nutrients. Urine collected from major music festivals and the London Marathon is being transformed into odorless fertilizer to help plant 4,500 native British trees. The Bristol-based startup NPK Recovery is behind the Green Initiative, using a mobile processing system to extract the nitrogen and potassium directly on site. The project is currently underway in the Brecon Beacons National Park in Wales, where scientists say the recycled fertilizer is just as effective as synthetic alternatives. Organizers hope this 3-year project will create a flourishing woodland that lasts for hundreds of years, turning waste into a powerful tool for reforestation and environmental security.
Well, that's all we have for today's episode. Thank you all for joining. Once again, I'm Mike Adredas.
And I'm Destana Tiganov. It has been a great episode today. Until next time, take care.
Mm-hmm.